I'm Nikki Moore, author by the sea. I live in beautiful Dorset and I'm published by HarperCollins. I write romance as Nikki Moore and I've just been announcing recently that I'm going to be published as Ella Albright. I'm writing women's commercial fiction and the book The Charm Bracelet will be out this August, so really excited about that. Thanks for joining me on the vlog today. This week's vlog is Invest in Social Media, and it's a subject that's quite close to a lot of authors or aspiring authors' hearts. It's an interesting one. I was on Twitter last week, I think Thursday or Friday, and I saw this post from this lady who had submitted some work to a publisher, and they'd come back to her and basically said, "We like your book, but we're not going to offer you a deal because you haven't got any social media presence." And that was an interesting one, and it's something that I contended with before I was first published and at the beginning of my career. So I thought it'd be interesting to talk about that today, and hopefully you'll find learning from my experience and my tips useful to you. So as far as I'm concerned, it's never too early to set up a social media presence. It's really, really important for agents and publishers that as an author you're going to be willing to promote your work. Many years ago there were authors out there who were bestsellers who were kind of hidden away, and they never saw the light of day, and there was a kind of air of mystery surrounding them. But that's not the case nowadays. With the rise of ebooks and Amazon, etc., readers are expecting writers and authors to be accessible. And the way that they're accessible is mostly through social media. Certainly as a reader myself, one of my biggest thrills is that I read a book and really love it, really enjoy it, and that I can connect with the author. Usually on Twitter, I'll write a review and I'll post on Twitter saying, I've written this review and here's the link and I love the book and this is what I enjoyed about it. And it's a really big thrill when the author comes back to me and we can maybe have a conversation about that, or even if they just say thank you. So I feel really sorry for this lady that didn't get offered this deal because she didn't have a social media presence. I do think it's a little bit short-sighted of that publisher, because at the end of the day it can take 3 to 12 months or even longer to get a book to market, depending on whether it's a smaller indie publisher or whether it's maybe one of the larger publishers out there. But actually they could have spent some time with the author building their social media presence online whilst all of the the editing and all of the other things were going on. So a bit short-sighted. However, I think that the reason they're looking for that is because they need to know that if you're an aspiring author and you're serious about being published, that actually you're not going to hide yourself away, and that you are going to have a healthy attitude to social media. So my number one, my first tip would be, no matter where you are in your journey, even if you're just starting with the idea for a book and you're just getting these the first few 1,000 words on the page, is actually decide how you're going to brand yourself as an author, what pen name you're going to use, what kind of genre you're going to be writing in, and set up some accounts and start establishing a presence online. Because it really is important that you are going to be accessible to your readers, accessible to bloggers, and that your publisher or agent is going to have the confidence that you can do those things, because they are an integral part. They're a reality of being an author nowadays. Most authors do not have publicists, do not have a PR team that are embedded in the publishers, behind them. So you are going to be relied upon to do a lot of your own promotional activity. So set up that social media presence and think about how you're going to present yourself. The second tip around this is actually be picky about what account you're going to use. So certainly a mistake I made when I was first setting out is I set myself up on lots of different social media channels and accounts, and then I was kind of all over the place trying to keep track of them all and do this over here and do that over there. And actually I think what I ended up doing was wasting a lot of hours on activities that weren't necessarily that valuable. There were a lot of hours that actually I should have been spending time writing, and I probably diluted my author brand. So it's about which channels are you going to use. I would say, my advice would be drill down to 3, maybe 4 at a push, and think about the kind of trends of the different social media channels, you know, what's going on at the moment, what's big. Really primarily, what channels is it that people are using? So currently I use 3 main channels. Obviously I'm contactable by email, but I'm talking specifically about social media accounts. So I'm on Instagram. I actually use Instagram for personal use more than anything. I'm on Instagram as Veronique M1207. That's VERONIQUE M1207. Thank you, Mum, for that lovely French name for my first name. I really, on Instagram, it's more personal. I have turned it into a business account, and I do mention Nikki Moore on there. And occasionally, maybe I have a little book ad on there. However, for the most part, it's more personal stuff. It's meals that I've been to, you know, pictures of food, walks I've been on. I'd say 90% of the content on there is probably Luna, our beagle puppy, and the walks I go on with her and funny things that she gets up to. And, you know, maybe there's a little bit of I'm supporting other authors and reposting, you know, that kind of thing. But I think that whilst you've got this author persona and you're building a brand, I think people and readers often want to know more about you as a person. You know, what are you like in kind of real life? What personal things have you got going on? What kinds of things do you get up to? And Instagram at the moment is, you know, enormously popular, especially with certain age groups. So particularly if you're aiming at maybe young adults, then, you know, Instagram is a good place to be. I use Twitter a lot. Twitter is it's a toss-up for me between Twitter and Facebook in terms of what's my favourite. I use them for slightly different things. Twitter, I have my Nikki Moore author account. You'll see if you go on there that I also mention Ella Albright, my other pen name. I tweet mostly around books that I've read, contacting other authors, let them know, you know, about reading their book and how much I've enjoyed it, supporting other authors and writers, so a lot of retweeting and liking book news for other people, and, you know, a little bit about my own kind of products, my books, and I obviously publicise this vlog on there. A tip for you about Twitter is really only 1 in every 5 or 6 things should actually be about your own book or something that you're trying to publicise. If you are constantly tweeting, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, people get very fatigued quite quickly, and, you know, they might unfollow you. So it's not a place to do a kind of, you know, a hard sell. So just be aware of that. And then I use Facebook. So I love Facebook. It's obviously had an increase in popularity the last 2 years. I love the communities and the groups on there. I am a member of lots of different groups. Some of them I'm a member of a group as a reader, and it's interacting with other people about books that I've read and loved. Some groups are specifically for writers, and actually some of them are closed groups and only writers or authors are kind of allowed in there. And it's an opportunity to talk freely about, you know, publishing or your book or, you know, writing, and even maybe if you want some advice. So I was in one of the groups last week asking for advice from people about bookmarks, because I want to do some new bookmarks and maybe a pop-up banner for when I do kind of workshops or events. And it's great to kind of have that advice. I do post on my main Facebook page about all sorts of things. It's mostly about writing progress, where I am with the current manuscript, or some exciting news that I've had. But again, there's a bit of a touch of the personal as well, you know, birthdays I've been to, etc. I also have, and I think this is an invaluable tool as an author, I have author pages. So you can have a specific page that's separate to your main profile page, and you can use that in any number of ways. You can, you know, create events. You can post in there, you can run ads, which I find enormously beneficial. And I've got a Nikki Moore author page, and I've just this weekend set up an Ella Albright author page. If you want to check it out, it's www.facebook.com/Ella Albright, and that's Albright with 2 L's. Ella Albright Writes. And in due course, I'm hoping to put, you know, towards the end of February, we're going to be doing a cover reveal, and I'll be putting the cover up in that. So the author page is really invaluable. So I've chosen nowadays to focus my energy on, you know, those 3 main social media kind of channels or accounts. I've obviously got the YouTube channel for the vlog, but I don't really spend time on there. It's just putting the vlog up, and if people are kind enough to comment, you know, I'll go in and comment and have a conversation with them. So choose what channels you're going to use. And when I talk about investing in social media, at the outset, that doesn't necessarily have to be money in terms of adverts, it's investing your time. So the third tip, the third main thing I wanted to say was that just be really wary in terms of how much time you're spending on social media. What's paramount is that you spend more time writing and editing than you do on social media. You know, as we know, writers and authors are the world's greatest procrastinators, and I count myself as one of those people. And it can be easy to lose, you know, hours of your life to social media, but the writing should come first. So think about chunking up your social media presence. You know, is it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime, 10 minutes in the evening? But actually make sure you've still got your 2 or 3 hours a day, or every other couple of days, or whatever your writing routine is, to actually do the writing. Because what readers expect, just as much as being online and having a presence, is that you're going to keep writing books and publishing them. So this hasn't been a technical vlog about how to set accounts up, but a kind of, you know, an overview of having a presence online. I hope it's been useful. Anita Chapman does a brilliant course on social media for writers. I think she's on Twitter as @NeatsWriter, but I will put her handle up in a moment. Hope you found that useful. Thank you for the ongoing support. Have a great week, and I'll see you in about a week's time. Bye.